I do solemnly swear that I will continue to
Sight and sounds there from the 37th induction ceremony of the CITN, as well as the 2017 dinner, awards and fellowship conferment ceremony of the CITN, both events held in Lagos back-to-back about a week ago. On this episode of Tax Matters, we are going to be telling you those two stories, plus another one from Abuja, also from the stable of the CITN. But before we go on, permit us to introduce to you our brand new co-presenter, Chiamaka Hoanwuchi.
Hello, viewers.
Before we tell you the stories of the day, these hot, sizzling ones.
The Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mr. Babatunde Fowler, was the distinguished guest speaker at the 2017 edition of the Annual Leadership Lecture Series and Honors Night of the Arewa Youth Forum, held in Kaduna on Saturday, the 2nd of December. Mr. Babatunde Fowler was represented at the occasion by Mr. Andrew Ayabam, the state coordinator of the FIRS for Kaduna, Benue, and Niger State. The story will come to you very soon on Tax Matters.
Earlier in the same week, precisely on Tuesday, the 20th of November, Professor Abiola Sonny, sure you know him, a very good friend of this program, who is the Lagos State Professor of Taxation and Fiscal Matters at the University of Lagos, presented the very first lecture of that endowment at the JF Ade Ajayi Auditorium of the University of Lagos. In attendance at the well-attended event was the Honorable Federal Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun. Also in attendance was the Pro-Chancellor of the University, Dr. Wale Babalakin, the immediate past and incumbent Vice-Chancellors of the University, as well as an array of distinguished captains of industry and commerce and academics. The Lagos State Governor was represented at the occasion by the State Commissioner for Finance, Mr. Yemi Ashade. Again, that story will come to you very soon on Tax Matters. Welcome once again. The program is Tax Matters, and we begin with our first story, which is the story of the 37th induction ceremony of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, which was held on Thursday, the 30th of November in Lagos. In all, 480 brand new members were admitted into the hallowed chambers of registered tax practitioners in Nigeria.
The purpose of this ceremony is to formally admit some qualified persons who are desirous of belonging to the only fastest growing professional body, CITN, not just in Nigeria, but even beyond. These prospective members encompasses those who had undergone the mandatory 3 days refresher course known as the Special Orientation Program, and those who went through and passed all stages of the Institute's examinations.
President and Chairman in Council of the Institute, Chief Cyril Ede, has this to say in his opening address.
There is no better time other than now for Nigeria as a country to put in place enduring structures for effective resource mobilization to fund our development.
Special guest of honor was Professor Sunday Owolabi of Babcock University. He gave this charge.
Knowing how critical to the development of the nation your role is. What counts for you in the end is not how much you are paid, but how much honesty and integrity you show and you are known by in the course of your service. You must treasure integrity.
Before the 480 new chassis members took their oath of membership, those among them who distinguished themselves in the April 2017 diet of the professional examinations of the Institute were honored. Among them, Ms. AMYMAT Modupe Ogundeko of the FIRS went away with 4 prizes.
I present to you Ms. Omolara Okugure, the best student in Taxation of E-commerce. The next person is Ogundeko Modupe Alimat, best graduating female student.
The ladies are winning.
asked Ms. Ogundeko, who works with the FIRS, the secret of her success.
I attribute it to hard work, and I also attribute it to going for your lectures regularly and putting in the best in everything you do.
A real Amazon there, if you ask me.
The ladies are taking over.
I hear you.
A group of tuition houses were also honored for their contribution in training students for the CITN professional examinations.
Now to the demand. The 480 prospective members were formally presented to the President and Council by the Registrar and Chief Executive of the CITN.
Mr. President, you have before you 480 prospective members. 89 of them have graduated under the Institute's examination scheme, while 391 applied for direct membership, and they've gone through the...
Say after me. When I say I, you mention your name. I do solemnly swear.
Tax Matters spoke to some of the brand new tax practitioners.
How do you feel being a new inductee today? What does it mean to you?
Well, it means quite a lot to me because the training has not just afforded me an opportunity to network and meet people. It has also given me enabling an opportunity to learn about tax and the applicability of tax. From this training, I feel very refreshed, and I hope to go not just become an ambassador, a good ambassador of the institute, but to practice and also participate actively in the reforms necessary in the tax environment. Yeah.
I feel very happy that I've been inducted, and I wish to do more in my job since I'm already in it. I wish to contribute more to my organization, most especially now that we work on meeting targets, to see how I'll put my efforts to contribute to the organization.
This is my happiest day, having been inducted into the membership of Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, and knowing fully well that taxation is the fibre of development of every country. No nation survives without taxation. So I'm happy, and I promise to contribute my quota to the development of this country.
And from another female winner,
What do you attribute this your awards to?
First, I want to thank God, and then I want to also, I'm grateful that I pursued my passion for taxation, that determination, that drive. I'm really grateful that it brought these awards today. I'm really happy.
What do we expect from you?
This award will encourage me and push me to go forward in it. I hope to chase taxation as a dream and as a job.
Any word you have to the people out there who are looking up to you?
First, to taxpayers, pay your tax. It's your civic responsibility to the government, and to tax professionals, be diligent, be honest, and true to the calling of your profession.
Mr. Simon Kato is the chairman, Membership and Professional Conduct Committee of the CITN.
What do you expect from them?
Wow. We expect much more convenience in terms of tax paying by the taxpayers in the country. We are unleashing another set of professionals who have gone through training. People that will be able to guide their clients properly. Tax administrators that will be able to do the thing as it is. Taxation and payment of taxation is supposed to be something simple. I'm expecting that these professionals will go into the field, into their offices, and wherever they are finding themselves to practice, to be able to advise people in terms of tax administration to pay taxes with ease.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service FIRS calls on all corporate organizations operating in Nigeria to register for the purpose of payment of taxes and obtain a tax identification number TIN. All registered companies must obtain a tax identification number immediately from the nearest FIRS office. You can also collect and return tax registration forms from the Federal Inland Revenue Service Engagement and Enlightenment Tax Teams, FEET, on compliance checks exercise in your area. A company which is yet to commence business after at least 6 months of incorporation must pay a pre-operational levy of 20,000 naira in the first year and 25,000 naira for subsequent years to obtain its tax clearance certificate TCC. Note that filing and payment of VAT and withholding tax returns must be done on or before the 21st day of every month. Register for VAT. File all tax returns as and at when due. Be a responsible corporate citizen of Nigeria. It pays to pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
Welcome back. The program is State Tax Matters, and we move on to the next story. 2 days after the 37th induction ceremony, the CITN once again played host to tax practitioners, government officials, captains of commerce and industry at the 2017 edition of its annual dinner, awards, and fellowship conferment ceremony. There were several high points in the night of glitz and glamour. One of them was the presentation of an award to a member of staff of the CITN as the best staff in customer service relations.
The award is being given to her for being the best staff in customer service relations. Since Christy joined the Institute, she has consistently performed very well, attending to customers' inquiries. She has never been rude to any member. She has always been resolving members' problems for them. Christy is a very good team player and a diligent worker. Just last week, we inducted a new crop of members, 480 in number, but our budget for that program was just 250. This number, 480, wouldn't have been possible without the singular effort of Christy. And this was attested to by all the inductees that were present. They even said we should promote her.
On behalf of the Institute, for the diligent job you have been doing, continue to do it. Have this one as a token. Congratulations.
Another high point was the presentation of the Outstanding Service to the Tax Profession Award to the immediate past president, Professor Mrs. Teju Shomori.
And then the high point of the night, the conferment of fellowship status on the serving members of the Institute, including Mr. Abiodun Aina, Coordinating Director, Domestic Tax Group at the FIRS, Special Advisor to the Executive Chairman, FIRS.
The 13th president, you have standing before you 308 members that have applied to be upgraded from the status of associate to fellow. These people have consistently paid their subscriptions. They all belong to district societies, and they also pay their subscriptions to the district societies. They've been attending the Institute's programs. They are worthy ambassadors of the Institute.
I do solemnly swear that I will continue to comply with the provisions of the Institute's charter, bear true allegiance to the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria.
Special guest of honor at the dinner was Dr. J.K. Naeju.
In the community of institutes, professional institutes in Nigeria, our institute should tower very high. Why? The nation needs money. You can't do any development without money. So when you talk of taxation, it's an institute that will attract the attention of those in authority. I want to congratulate our fellows, over 300 of you. A big congratulations. You know, you are now in a higher grade of service, not the qualification now, but a higher grade of service. Anything we want to do next to the line of the past president, the fellows are the backbone we should rely on. You are in practice, the resources are there. You must not forget the Institute. The Institute is the one that binds us together in the practice and administration of taxation in Nigeria. We should stop make it taxation because it's very attractive, free for all. Anybody who wants, oh yes, we can practice taxation. No. If I want to be a medical doctor today, I will go to medical school. If I want to stand before a judge today as a lawyer, I must pass through the bar examination and body. Both the Inland Revenue at the federal and the state internal revenue through the Joint Tax Board should put a very formidable stamp that anybody who wants to practice taxation in Nigeria should pass through our institute.
The CITM president also had words of advice for the new fellows.
I congratulate members who are being conferred with fellowship of the Institute today. This is an indication of your progression as a member of the Institute, as a tax practitioner. This elevation comes with responsibilities and requires higher level of professionalism. It is therefore expected that you would devote time towards sustaining the existence of our institute by engaging in activities that would promote the profession and the institute.
We are coasting home, and so we are going to tell you the last story of the day, which is again a CITN story. On Thursday, the 9th of November 2017, the Abuja and District Society of the CITN held the grand finale of its 2017 tax week. Now, the CITN has 31 district societies spread across the length and breadth of Nigeria, and the Abuja and District Society is one of the foremost. Theme was the impact of tax incentives in attracting investment into the Nigerian economy.
In attendance at the event were the Honorable Federal Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Professor Stephen Ocheni, the Executive Chairman, FIRS, Mr. Babatunde Fowler, the CITM President, Chief Cyril Ede, Honorable Wole Oke of the Federal House of Representatives, and Dr. J.K. Nayeju, former Accountant General of the Federation.
Mr. Benjamin Ogbede is the Chairman, Abuja and District Society of the CITN.
We are talking about, as a team, impact of tax incentives and tax investment in the Nigerian economy. We have looked at the fact that for us to have FDI, foreign direct investment, we need some certain incentives to make people come in to invest here. Our environment must be friendly. So this is why we are having this tax week. So it's going to be a robust time.
Before the intellectual feast, before the lectures began, the finals of the quiz competition organized for tertiary institutions in Abuja and environs took place.
How is minimum tax calculated in the case of an individual taxpayer? 1% of the total income. Correct. A round of applause for him, please. Briefly define benefits in kind.
That is the goods and services enjoyed by an employee, which is not of cash benefit from the employer.
A round of applause for him. Define earned income under Personal Income Tax Act.
Earned income is an income that is derived from trade, profession, or vocation for an individual in a particular year of assessment.
A round of applause for him.
At the end of it all, winners emerged.
Third place winner was Federal Polytechnic, Nasarawa. Second place went to Nasarawa State University, while the first place went to University of Abuja.
The elders had words of encouragement for the young ones.
Tomorrow's tax professionals are within you. And so if you take what you're learning and you take the interest of this very professional body and this field serious, you will be better for it tomorrow.
We have to encourage these chaps. I asked them whether they have registered as students of CITN, because you can actually register while you're in the university or technic and take the exams, so that by the time you just finish your university course, it will be easy for you to become a member of CITN.
Chairman of the 2017 edition of the Abuja and District Society Tax Week was the executive chairman of the FRS, Mr. Babatunde Fowler.
The future, not only of Nigeria or Africa or the world, actually hinges on taxation. Every country is now beginning to realize that the only way to sustain their economies, to provide economic development and social development, is by revenue, and that revenue has to come from taxation.
Thereafter, the intellectual feast began.
On our own, as parliamentarians, I want to pledge our continuous support, both to the Institute and to the FIRS. We have constantly, particularly the committee that I chaired, Public Procurement Committee. One of the prerequisite requirements for engaging businesses, individuals and professionals that seek government patronage is to present their tax clearance certificates. We go beyond mere citing the tax clearance certificate. We look at the content of the tax clearance certificate. We look at the company's profile. We look at the audited accounts in the company's profile. We relate the audited accounts to the tax clearance certificate. We do not stop there. We go further by sending those companies' tax clearance certificate to the FIRS to confirm whether they are fake or genuine. Some agencies may not like what we are doing, but they think we're only doing it for purpose of procurement alone. No. Because we also realize and identify, just like the Minister of State Labor did, that the bedrock of public finance is taxation. And if these companies, if you do not have several gateways to police enforcement, we may not be able to achieve the targets that we set in our annual budget proposals.
High point of the 2017 Tax Week of Abuja and District Society was the presentation of awards to the Honorable Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Professor Stephen Ocheni, and Mrs. Ruth Arokoyo, a fellow of ICANN, fellow CITN, and a tax controller at the FIRS. Tax Matters spoke to the immediate past chairman and the incumbent chairman of the Abuja and District Society of the CITN.
What did you set out to achieve this year with the Tax Week? Yeah, we have decided that to assist government and the sole agency that collects tax in Nigeria with the Federal Inland Revenue Service in the federal level, we felt we should have a kind of advocacy and sensitization work to show people and let people know why they have to pay tax. Because if they pay tax, it will help Nigeria to grow. It will help the government to work on more infrastructures. So ours is just to encourage people to pay tax and to make them obey first before complaining. By the time you have paid tax, even if the government is not doing or satisfying your needs as it were, you can now complain, but at least obey first. Sir, at the time you were the chairman of the Abuja and District Society of the CITN, what was the idea behind starting the CITN Abuja and District Society Tax Week?
Today, I feel very happy and elated because let me not blow my trumpet, but it was during my leadership that the initiative and the idea to start this tax week came up. That was when I became chairman in 2012, and I came on a second time, having spent 4 years, and then the current chairman took over. And within these 4 years, we held tax weeks. I must be frank with you, the Institute and indeed members of CITN Abuja have been better for it because it brought more clarity and more presence of the activities of the district to members in Abuja in particular. At a point, the Abuja Annual Tax Week became what people called the second annual tax conference to the Institute because it brought virtually all past presidents of the Institute, and we had opportunities to discuss current tax issues in the country, and all our resolutions were always taken to government. At a point, we even had the then Minister of Finance, Okonjo-Iweala,
come into our program, and we've always had it so nice. So I'm so happy that even after my tenure, an event like this could take place. And you can see the cream of gentlemen and the high-profile people that came around, you know, to keep faith with this program. I'm confident that it will be something that will continue.
We want to most sincerely thank you for finding time to watch today's episode of Tax Matters. We hope that in our usual way, we have been able to enlarge your coast with regard to the workings of the Nigerian tax system. From Chiamaka,
Bye for now.
have a blessed week ahead.